And there is the newcomer, Devontae McMahon, back for the opening kickoff. The Argos won the toss, and they want the ball to start and wrap up Week 16. Mark Leggio kicking it off. We're underway here at BMO Field in Toronto. Down to Javon Lee. One of the top returners in the league. Gets it up across the 40. Where Chad Kelly will come on last week, 21 of 35 for 273 yards and a touchdown pass late in their first place clinching victory in Montreal.
And you heard the panel talk about the roster management mode, how much we may or may not see Chad Kelly down the stretch. But fact is, East Division matchup here against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Chad Kelly gets the call.
Ryan Dinwiddie had said expect him to play 4 of the remaining 6 games. And that remains to be seen. 4 receivers to the left to start things off on first down and over the middle. And that is Deontay McMahon, and he breaks a tackle and he picks up the first down with his second CFL catch. He had one last week in Montreal and a couple of carries too for the young running back out of McNeese State.
And see McMahon starting off in the backfield. He's just going to sneak out. Little leak route, and you not to make a comparison in terms of achievement, but in terms of style, little pinball-esque is Deontay McMahon.
That's about as high a praise as you could ever get, especially in these parts. And handing off now to McMahon, who has nowhere to go. He's stuffed right up, that little in behind the line of scrimmage as we take a look at that Argo starting offense.
And along that offensive line, Trevon Tate, who's been around the league and with the Argos for a couple of years. He gets the start at left tackle in place of Isaiah Cage this week. Rajay Johnson in at receiver. He's in the slot in place of Cam Phillips as that roster management mode begins a little bit for the Argos. Expect to see a little bit of a rotation of who's in and out of the lineup as opposed to resting many people at once at the end.
Handing off again to McMahon. Another touch for him as he gets it near a first down. He had lost a yard on the previous carry, and it looks like he has enough. Yes, indeed, he does. Down to about the 47 of the Ticats.
And once again, getting a field level view. And Deontay McMahon going to work. Watch the left side of the offensive line. Hunter and Tate doing a nice job. Tackle getting up to second level.
Getting a good look at McMahon with Andrew Harris and A.J. Ouellette on the sidelines watching today, not dressed for it. And back to McMahon again. How about that Hamilton defense, Dwayne?
And defensively, Malik Carney, always one to keep an eye on, had a big interception last week in the win over Winnipeg. That linebacking core, the former Argo, Chris Edwards, enjoying a very productive season in black and gold. This is Stavros Katsantonis, a guy with a nose for the ball, continuing to start at free safety. He's been something of a turnover machine of late.
Quickly throwing, completing to Brissett. That's inside the 40 and near another first down. It is. Sticks keep moving for this Argo offense, looking sharp in their first possession of this game.
And Brissett getting an increased opportunity to play with Curly Gittens Jr. on the injured list, the number 2 overall pick in 2020. He's starting to blossom here in his 3rd season in double blue. Producing on offense and continuing to be one of their top special teamers.
Scrimmaging from the Ticat 36. Back to McMahon now. And picks up about 2 yards on that one. Malik Carney in on the tackle for Hamilton. So short gain, 2nd and long coming up.
Daniel Adeboboye into the offensive huddle in place of McMahon for this one. It's a little snapshot of the Argos' newest running back.
Stellar collegiate career at McNeese State. Yes, he's head off for a little breather. A busy first possession there for the Argos, still moving. 2nd and 8 now. Opening drive of the game, and that goes incomplete, intended for Tavares Daniels. Jameer Thurman among those there. Javian Elliott too. And that forces a 3rd down and a field goal situation coming up here for Toronto.
Simone Lawrence in on the pressure, right in the very right edge of your screen. He's coming. They also bring the safety blitz. Both guys go to the blitz, and Katsantonis from his free safety spot. That leaves Simone Lawrence free, so a little miscommunication there between Dejan Allen and Daniel Adeboboye.
David Unger, the ex-Ticat, to put it down at the Hamilton 41 for Boris Beatty. Was 3 for 3 last week in Montreal and 1 for 1 in this game, with the opening points in the 4th meeting of the season between the Argos and the Ticats as Toronto hopes for the possession. And we talked about his steady improvement, Wayne, since that first start against the Argos, when obviously he is just getting a feel for the game. He looks a lot more savvy now.
He certainly does, and just a workmanlike approach to getting better is what he's been all about.
Coming off his 3rd win of the season as a starter, a victory over the Bombers last week when he went 20 for 26 for 236, a touchdown and a pick. And it's handed off to Tim White. But a big carry last week for 52 yards in that victory over the Bombers.
Looking at the Tiger Cat offense, little shuffle on the O-line with Joel Figueroa on the shelf this week. Jordan Murray shifts from right to left tackle. Tyrone Riley in at right tackle. Chris Godwin had a couple of touchdown catches the last time these two teams met on Labor Day, so certainly looking to duplicate that performance here in Toronto.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 for Powell, and the Ticats in a 4-man rush. Gets rid of it, intercepted. Wynton McManus has it, and a big return, taking it all the way for a Toronto touchdown. 57 yards. Wynton McManus has himself a pick 6 on his 2nd interception of the season.
McManus started off tight to the line of scrimmage, and then he's going to back out of there. See him lurking right in the middle of your screen. Just cuts underneath that in route to make the play on the ball, and a fantastic return.
Well, they've clinched first, but they're not sitting idle. A point after try here to make it a 10-0 start early in this game. And that pass from Taylor Powell, as Boris Beatty does put it through. So drove down for a field goal, and then that man, Wynton McManus, last had a pick 6 in Touchdown Atlantic a year ago. Has another one now. Goes sideline. Wynton McManus has himself an interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, Taylor Powell is looking to the single receiver side. Keandre Smith is over there. He's going to run that in route. But if you keep an eye on McManus in the middle of that defense, he's watching the quarterback all the way. Reads his eyes as Powell opens to throw that way. McManus makes his break. Positioning himself perfectly. Come up with the INT and extend the Argos lead.
So the Ticats, trying to keep pace with the Alouettes and get to 500, are in a 10-point hole early on as they get the ball back. And it's Tyreek McAllister on the return as he heads to the right. And he is taken down just across the 30. So Taylor Powell heads on, throwing one pass, and that's intercepted for a touchdown. Well, this is the difference. In the first half, counting this game tonight, 56-point differential in favor of the Argos against the Ticats. Counting this so far, the 10 points in the previous 3 games, all won by Toronto. Looking for the series sweep. Hamilton 31, first down. James Butler on the carry, his first carry of the night, and he gets it up close to the 40. And look at the Argo defense now.
One of the leaders on that defensive line thus far has been Dwayne Hendricks. Hendricks had that big field goal block to seal the win against Montreal.
2nd and 2. Back to Butler. And gets past that initial contact and pushes through for a Hamilton first down.
And there you see Dwayne Hendricks. Had the big play to close things out in Montreal last week. And Darius Pickett coming over from Montreal in free agency. One of the best free agent signings of this past offseason. Mason Pierce continues to start at the boundary halfback spot in place of the injured Robertson Daniel.
Ticats up to the 43 now. Pressure's coming, and it's given to Powell again, who gets it up across the 45 and picks up about 4 more yards. 2nd and 6 ahead. You talked about Dwayne Hendricks and blocked that David Cote field goal try that would have forced overtime in Montreal last week. And Hendricks, yeah, he got the mitts up. And call it a block-off victory for the Argos as they improve to 11-1 on that great special teams play at the end at Molson Stadium. 2nd and 6, Hamilton 47, 10-0 Argos. And nearly caught. Nearly a brilliant catch there by Godwin, but he can't hang on. So 3rd down, and the punting unit will come on.
Yeah, Godwin went up and got his hands on this, but just was in an awkward position. Unable to hold on to it as he came down to the field. See full extension there, and the ball's just between his fingertips. Couldn't get a secure grip on it.
Kari Vedvik, the punter for Hamilton, running to the right a bit, and he gets this one away. It's bobbled. It's loose. Who's got it? They continue to fight for it, waiting for a ruling here. It's Hamilton football. Javon Leake couldn't get a handle on it. And it cost the Argos a possession and a break the Ticats need down at the Toronto 25.
Javon Leake has been enjoying such a terrific year in the return game for Toronto. 4 punt return touchdowns for him, but this has been the one challenge, as that is his 4th fumble of the season. Loses that one, ball's bouncing around.
Hot potato.
Eventually, the long snapper, Gordon White. Toronto kid, product of St. Michael's College. Is the one who eventually comes up with the ball.
So the guy that had the ball at the start of the play has it at the end. Gordon White picking up that fumble. Hamilton football now. Back to Butler. And good defensive play coming in for Thomas Costigan, number 97 of the Argos, to limit that gain by Butler.
Costigan has spent some time over the last couple of years with Montreal and Edmonton. Unblocked into the backfield.
Gain of about a foot. Right at the Toronto 25. Ticats in position to score. And that one is complete. And inside it's Omar Bayless, who has it down closer to the 15. Not a first down, but a 2nd and short will be coming up. Or a 3rd and short, excuse me, on that play. About a yard away. So interesting decision coming up here for Orlando Steinauer.
Yeah, quick hitter here for Powell as Bayless releases from the tight end look. Growing in this offense as he's moved in place of Duke Williams in that slot.
So they'll go on a 3rd and 1 with the short yardage QB Kyle Loxley in. Pushes left, and he's still pushing. And yes, he does have a first down. He got that ball inside the 15. Drive continues for the Ticats.
You'll see Loxley slide to his left. Ticats wedge it up. Picking up the first down easily. Loxley shifting to his slightly more traditional quarterback number this week, going from 89 to 11.
Well, at one point, and I'm trying to remember the last time we saw a quarterback wearing 0 in the CFL, and then the backup when he wore 89. But now, as you say, he's gone to 11. Matthew Schultz, the 2nd string quarterback in this one. And it's back to Butler, who drives his way down and near the 10, and 5 more yards for James Butler.
Busy start for James Butler. In this one, Ticats running back. See Hamilton going with 6 offensive linemen. Frequently here in the early going, a heavy look as they attempt to establish the ground game.
Butler has 22 yards so far in this game. Powell wants to throw, running out of time, nowhere to go. He's taken down again. Sacked by Costigan, who gets to him for a second time in this game. And that'll force a field goal situation now for the Ticats, settling for a shot at 3 as Mark Leggio comes on.
Here once again, you'll see Costigan from his DN spot, loop inside. Just fighting his way to the quarterback.
Redvick to put it down at the 26 for Mark Leggio. Puts it up and puts it through. And the Ticats are on the board. After the turnover on the fumbled punt return by Javon Lake. Taylor Powell, a loss of 9, ran out of time, and Costigan got him. 10-3, Argos first quarter at Beaver. Happened Labor Day in Hamilton against the Cats. Ended up going 15-23 for 201 for a couple of touchdowns. And he had a couple of intercepted as well, but more than enough for the Argos, Dwayne, to win at 41-28.
Yeah, had a little added support in the passing game, of course, from A.J. Ouellette, who threw a touchdown pass in that one. But yeah, there have still been ups and downs for Chad Kelly in his first year as a starting quarterback, but consistently, obviously, has done enough to win with the support of those around him.
First time he and the offense have been on the field in 7 minutes and 13 seconds of playing time, and he's looking deep. Airing it out, and it's caught by Brissett. 10-5, touchdown, just like that. Chad Kelly strikes. Brissett with the touchdown.
And the most dangerous deep ball offense in the Canadian Football League strikes again. They do a great job getting Kelly outside of the pocket on this one. We've seen a bunch of runs to McMahon early. You see the defense slanting, going in the direction of that run fake. Kelly breaks contain, plenty of room to set up and launch. Jean Brissett comes up with the grab.
For Brissett, that's his 3rd touchdown catch, and for Kelly, that's the 20th he has thrown this season. Against 9 picks with Boris Beatty on for another point after try. So first offensive touchdown of this game, and the conversion is not there. Beatty puts it wide left. Nonetheless, 6 more on the board for the Toronto Argonauts in this one, getting it done quickly in one play. They lead it late first quarter, 16-3. Playing it down, and then they just needed one play here, Dwayne.
And you're going to get Brissett coming in motion, and he's going to attack the middle of the field. Free safety, Katsantonis jumps that in route in front of him, so there's no help over top, and it looked like Dexter Lawson, who's the halfback, who ends up matched up with Brissett, got caught flat-footed as if he started to turn his hips to the outside. Brissett broke to the inside. That left him a step behind, just unable to make up ground.
Been a big target for Kelly, especially with the injury to Curly Gittins. Brissett has mentioned getting his 3rd touchdown. And McAllister runs into Mason Bennett there, and he goes down. But Brissett's caught touchdowns from Kelly and also from A.J. Ouellette this season.
As mentioned, Brissett, former number 2 overall pick. At the time, the Argos were looking for a heavily Canadian receiving corps. at that time based on what they had done in free agency. Their plans shifted a little bit as the roster changed up through COVID.
Powell to the right, completes it to the fullback. Felix Garan-Gauthier coming in. Tavares McFadden with a good tackle to limit him to a 3-yard pickup.
You see McFadden coming just from the very right edge of your screen. Right there is the fullback. Garan-Gauthier turns his head. Immediately taken down. McFadden is taken over by that field halfback spot after an injury to Deshaun Amos.
2nd and 7. Powell running out of time again. Dumps it to Butler, and he is hit immediately by McManus. And Powell is slow to get up. There was heat on him. And right as it arrived to Butler, McManus made sure he didn't catch it. 3rd down.
Yeah. Powell and Butler both took pretty good shots on this one. I believe it was Hendricks coming from the nose who got the hit on the QB just as he threw that football.
Corey Vedvik, the pundit. Javon Leake on the return. After a punt of 47 and a good tackle in there for the Ticats. And Fraser Sopik, he missed a chunk of the season. Great special teams player. We saw that much of his career in Calgary in the first year with Hamilton, and a nice tackle there on Leake. Last Argo possession took one play for the touchdown. They have another TD and an interception by Wynton McManus. Taking the handoff and dishing it off. And back to Brissett. Has it up across the 40 with a flag coming out.
Illegal block, blocking below the waist. Toronto number 85, 10-yard penalty, will replay 1st down.
That'll push the Argos back after the pickup by Brissett, so they'll be back to scrimmage from their 22.
And that's the newcomer, Rajay Johnson. Called for the illegal block. He came from sort of outside of the box and motioned in, blocked below the waist on a player in the box.
In his first year out of Troy and his first taste of being a CFL starter, a 1st and 20 now after the penalty. Kelly complete, and the first catch for Johnson. Getting in the game, and it was his penalty, and got a lot of that yardage back and then some as they get up to the Argo 39.
Yeah, Johnson working across the middle here. Good protection from the offensive line. Another aggressive throw by Kelly in terms of putting that one right into the teeth of the defense, counting on his receiver to go up and make a play.
He's 4 for 5 for 106 so far, and that one is incomplete, and it might have been a shot at being picked off. Dexter Lawson in there, one of the newcomers to the secondary of the Ticats. 3rd down coming up, and Boris Meady will be on to punt.
And Dexter Lawson getting an opportunity to play with the injury to Tunde Adeleke. Adeleke had moved from free safety to that field halfback spot, essentially to get Stavros Katsantonis on the field.
So with John Haggerty injured, their normal punter, Beatty, who's had several seasons as a punter as well in the CFL, doing double duty again here to get it away inside the 30. Should be the last play of the opening quarter. Tyreek McAllister catches it after a punt of 41, and he gets taken down just around the Ticat 41, and a good productive first quarter for the 11-1 Toronto Argonauts. Picked up an early field goal, Got an interception for a touchdown by Wynton McManus, and then on a one-play drive, it was Kelly to Brissett. They lead it 16-3. Hamilton, but it's in the most important stat, all Argos on this, and a fast start. Of course, an interception for a touchdown by Wynton McManus certainly helped. For a team that's already clinched first place, they're still looking awfully sharp in this one.
Yeah, they're not going to change the way that they play. There just may be some different people in the lineup over these next few weeks, and we've seen that. Chad Kelly is the guy who's going to set the tone. He comes out and throws the ball over the top after sitting on the sidelines for 7 minutes. It's kind of same old Chad Kelly with just that indomitable confidence.
Certainly showed that, especially on their one-play drive. That long pass to Dejon Brissett for the Argos' offensive touchdown. And Ryan Dinwiddie kind of joked with us, saying now the challenge for a coach begins, now that they've clinched first place with all this time left. But I think it's a little bit serious as well, that this is a tricky part, making sure this team stays fired up, stays motivated, and making the proper roster decisions to make sure everybody is sharp and ready to go for the Eastern Final.
Yeah, and there is no sure formula, obviously,
right,
in terms of being ready, being healthy, and so on. Ryan Dinwiddie would have some experience with some early clinches from his time in Calgary, but I don't think ever anything as early as this. Very unique situation, and further complicated by the fact that all of their bye weeks were early. They had used all 3 of their byes by the time they had played half the season, and so they don't have the advantage of being able to use some of those as rest weeks for players.
Well, this is the thing, and case in point now, I mean, players got to play. They got 6 games left, and
that's always been your motto, right? Players got to play.
They do, and Sean Oakman is the injured player now, and you know, the question comes in, depending on who the player is, you know, who do you rest? Certainly if they're banged up, you make sure that they do rest. And you saw A.J. Ouellette on the sideline. Andrew Harris is hurt. He's on the 6, and look what happened to Oakman, trying to make that tackle.
Yeah, just the momentum of Butler moving forward. Oakman, body moving the other way, trying to reach back with that arm. Pretty good pull on that shoulder joint, maybe a pec muscle.
So he's still on the field with that injury, but as such, I said the one thing it does, and Dinwiddie did talk about that to us, it does afford him, if there's a luxury here, clinching early, that if there's a player that probably could play but a little banged up, make sure they get the rest, make sure they're healthy when it matters most.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, as we're seeing in this exact moment, you can't bubble wrap your guys, right, and preserve them for 6 weeks. They got to play, and yeah, injuries are going to happen. There are going to be some challenges.
Well, roster management is certainly a subject for the Argos now. More on that. We say hello to Britt Dort.
Yeah, well, you guys have been talking about it all night long, and head coach Ryan Dinwiddie said clinching this early, it's a gift, but it's also a curse, and that's where the roster management comes in. We're going to see guys for the next few weeks be in and out of the lineup, and he said, I told them that we can't just take the next 6 weeks off. We just still have to play like the game is on the line at all times. And like you guys mentioned, they've already used all their bye weeks, but Chad Kelly did note we were able to clinch having used all 3 bye weeks already.
And Britt, defensive line there, Oakman off, still got a lot of pressure on the tie catch with the ball coming out, and Tyrone Riley having to fall on it. There's Oakman. You see Wayne Hendricks, one of their top D linemen, all fired up.
Yeah, they brought pressure from the secondary there as well, putting the heat on Taylor Powell. Powell has been certainly a calming presence for the offense, but probably tough for him to be calm right now, the way the Argos have come after him.
A running punt style by Vedvik. And Carthel Flowers-Lloyd getting in close there. A punt of 43 as Leak does pick it up, and he gets across the 30. And back comes Chad Kelly. Didn't have
Doug Flutie, just to name a few. They're going to have some autograph sessions before the game. They're going to be tailgating with the fans. So this is going to be a date on your calendar you are going to want to circle. Of course, Pinball Clement's going to be there with the rest of them.
Has to be, Brett. Has to be. He's the general manager with a new contract this week. What a job he's done with the organization since he arrived in 1989. Won Grey Cups, 3 of them as a player, 1 as a head coach in 04, 1 as a president of the team and a general manager as well last year. And this keeps going, and he is the Toronto Argonauts, celebrating 150 years, that franchise. Britt mentioned a couple of weeks now, and they do have the ball and back with Deontay McMahon. We saw him a lot actually on that first possession by Toronto.
Yeah, that's it. First possession was a lot of McMahon. Second possession seemed like Kelly just wanted to score and get off the field. But McMahon, he has been impressive early on.
Here's pinball.
Quickness. He's such an angry guy.
I was just going to say, imagine pinball smiling. And he has had a lot more to smile about this year, the way his team has gone. And off the fake and throwing and completing it too. That's Tommy Neild on the first down, and picks up a good chunk to make it a 2nd and short coming up as they get closer to midfield.
We've seen Tommy Neild as well get a little bit more of an opportunity in recent weeks. We mentioned earlier the injury to Curly Gittens Jr., but Argos having put together some nice depth amongst their Canadian receivers.
Last week in Montreal, 7 catches for 82 yards in that victory over the Owls. Kelly again, caught again, and another first down. This time it's Tavares Daniels with the catch.
Daniels is just going to get inside position here on his defender. Push it upfield a little bit. Quick hitter. Certainly, Argos doing a good job, as they have all season, of protecting their quarterback. Kelly getting the ball out quickly as well.
From the Hamilton 48, it's back to Neild. Takes that. Another first down. It's a down inside the 35. Argos on the move again.
See, Neild spending a bubble screen. Showing a little elusiveness. Neild, a McMaster product. Much to the chagrin of his father, Pat, by the way, who played at the University of Guelph. Teammate of Mike O'Shea's. Late 80s.
Couldn't get him to go to his alma mater, right? Here's Dan Attaboy in at running back. The fake to him is Kelly Keeps. And he is taken down by Jameer Thurman for a short gain. Garrett Davis, ex-Argo last year and back with the Ticats, and has not played much at all. He's been hurt. He's back in on that defensive line for Mark Washington and the Ticats defense. Devontae McMahon back in. Stays in to protect Kelly. He does get away. And Mason Bennett says no further. He takes him down just across the line of scrimmage, but it's a 3rd down coming up now for Toronto.
Bennett lining up on the inside, taking more reps at D tackle this year. A guy who's been primarily an end. Winnipeg native.
Flags coming out as the Ticats applaud. That's in the area of Darius Sirocco and Dejon Allen, but a late flag, obviously, between plays here. Something was said.
After the play, objectionable conduct, Toronto number 53. This is a 10-yard misconduct penalty, 3rd down.
So a field goal situation, and it pushes the Argos back.
It looked like Boris Beatty just threw.
The Argos back.
It looked like Boris Beatty just threw his tee to the sidelines. He's going to punt this one instead.
As it comes all the way back to the 43. So Beatty does have a big leg, but he has not attempted. He's only attempted 1 field goal over 50 yards this year. So choosing instead to play the field position game for Beatty. Into punt instead. Little punt right down and a bit too far as it rolls into the end zone. McAllister watches that. So one more on the board for the Argos, who got pushed out of a field goal try after the penalty. Makes up for the missed extra point. 11 yards, and he's thrown an interception for a touchdown. But you can see the way he's been trending, though, since week 11 compared to some other young quarterbacks that we've talked a lot about.
Yeah, and certainly that's become a little bit of the year of the young guns, as all of those guys have had a pretty impressive run. But I think Taylor Powell
completing that one there to Keandre Smith for a pickup of 5, but did have, as that graphic showed, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks, the best numbers in that period of time compared to those other ones.
Absolutely.
That said, things a little bit different so far in this game. From the Hamilton 45, Ticats down 2 touchdowns, first down. And that's Godwin.
Nice move by the Cats receiver to spin away from contact after catching the ball here, allowing to get that first down yardage.
Gets it up across midfield to the Argo 53. Hamilton's best chance of getting a touchdown was after a fumbled punt return by Javon Link. They took over at the 25 but settled for a field goal. Sean Oakman is back in for the Argos, and James Butler is running, and he's not getting much there on that first down. Give him about 3 yards up to the 50.
Yeah, including big Sean Oakman back in after suffering that upper body injury, making things tough for the Ticat running back.
In his 3rd year at a Baylor and the tallest player in the Canadian Football League. 2nd and 7 now coming up for Powell of the Ticats. And the whistle blows with the snap of the ball.
Illegal procedure. Hamilton, number 59. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
That's the left tackle, Jordan Murray. You'll see big fella jump out of his stance early here.
Ticats have had a lot of injuries at the tackle position. Murray was with them in 2021 in the NFL last year and came back recently. With time now, and that one, Tim White had a great shot at catching that, but he does not. It falls incomplete. 3rd down coming up now for Hamilton.
Yeah, White lunged back to the ball, moving away from the defenders as the ball approached. Just looked like this one got into his body and ended up going off the shoulder pads as he was trying to get back to it.
So another Ticat drive stalls. They have to punt. Vedvik, and some heat coming there on the rush by the Argos as Lee comes in and takes it just at the 20. Taylor Powell getting some attention to the footwear. Might want to either glue that or get something else to replace it before he gets back on. Games, they are chasing some franchise history, led at the top by the 2 Doug Flutie years when they went 15-3 and won the Grey Cup both times. 13-5 in '91. Matt Dunnigan's Argo team, they won the Grey Cup as well then, but and a 14-4 in 1988. But they are pushing some, and we're talking about a long-standing franchise too, celebrating 150 this year and the best ever through 12. Here it is, McMahon, the rookie, takes that little inside toss and he goes around the right and a first down on the ground for the Argos.
And I like the design of this play because you're going to see McMahon coming from depth, and it's essentially, I mean, this is going to go down as a pass because it goes forward, but you're giving one of the fastest guys on the field the ball with a running start already as he attacks that edge.
We saw him with a couple of carries, making an impression against the Alouettes last week. He has 5 carries for 27 yards. And also has 1 catch for 11. So here we go, 1st and 10 at the Argo 33. That one is caught to McMahon again. The coverage there by Jameer Thurman, and a short game this time for the Argo.
Kelly just looking to get rid of that one as Thurman was basically right on McMahon's back when that ball was thrown. Fortunate to make the catch.
But these touches McMahon is getting. Andrew Harris has mentioned hurt. He's on the 6th, but A.J. Ouellette, who's their feature back, getting rested with this team having clinched, and it gives him an opportunity to get more reps to a young player like him. Flags out and nearly picked off by Stavros Katsantonis, who has interceptions in 3 straight games. Had a great opportunity coming in there.
Offside. Hamilton, number 56, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
But it wouldn't have mattered anyway with that penalty going against Jagarrett Davis and the Ticats.
Unfortunate one. You'll see Davis far left side of your screen. Anxious, he got caught leaning. Those are the ones that you hold your breath a little bit as a D coordinator because you had them off the field.
From the 40 now, 2nd and 3, and yet the flags are out again. Kelly's lobbying for a call against Hamilton.
Ted Laurent burst across the line. Tough to say what he saw. I mean, he's lined up right in front of the ball. I didn't see the center move the football.
This has evolved into a discussion now with referee Andre Proulx.
Offside. Hamilton, number 97. 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
You called it, Wayne. It's Ted Laurent. Offside, so back-to-back 5-yard penalties against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's up now to the Toronto 45 and a 1st down. Handing off to McMahon, finds a hole and gets across the 50, approaching midfield. That's about 6 more yards for the rookie Argo running back, Deontay McMahon.
Deontay McMahon certainly an example of the benefit of clinching early for the Toronto Argonauts, as they ensure that some of their depth players are getting quality game reps, getting experience, but also for this team to decide, particularly in the next couple weeks before the trade deadline, if there are places they need to be stronger or deeper in order to accomplish what the regular season is suggesting they should be able to accomplish.
2nd and 3 from the 52. Deep look again. Kelly, open receiver, but no, just a little bit too far. And that's intended for Rajon Johnson in his debut here with the Argos, his 1st start, and gets a little bit of turf in the face mask to boot.
You're going to see Johnson coming out of the slot on this one. Big target. He's working towards the corner on this one. Gets in behind coverage. As Katsantonis kind of did a reverse turn out of there to chase him. But just beyond the fingertips.
That close for Johnson, who does have 1 catch of 17 yards earlier in this half. 4:23 to go until halftime. And all Argos so far 17-3, but about to punt it away. Boris Beatty off to the right for Tyreek McAllister, giving him very little room to work with as it bounces out just around the 20. Well, an investigation into a botched kidnapping uncovers long-held secrets. Don't miss the HBO Max original limited series, Full Circle. Stream now, only on Crave.
I binge watched this one over the summer. Totally worth the watch.
The Dwayne Ford review. How many stars?
Gets the stamp of approval.
Does it? Okay. So we'll call it 2 thumbs up. Wynton McManus. And 2 thumbs up for him tonight so far. Has the interception for the touchdown. Part of that 14-point lead for Toronto. We got that back early. First quarter. And the first pass by Taylor Powell, who's setting up a screen and doesn't like it. Just throws it down in the direction of Sean Thomas Erlington.
Yeah, Thomas Erlington was the intended receiver. I don't know if he got knocked down or slipped, but he was on the ground. You're going to see him lined up in that wing position at the left side as he turns out of there. I believe it was Mason Pierce, I think, that was coming on the blitz that knocked him down. May have been a case for illegal contact there, but that was the end of that play as it was intended to be.
Up against the front of Brandon Barlow. Valerian Rimolade. Deontay Knight. Flag coming out. Ball pops up and Butler gets it again as he does head out of bounds on that second down play.
Illegal procedure, no end. Hamilton, that penalty is declined. It will be 3rd down.
And Jamal Peters is injured on the play. He is still down at the Ticat 15. Their excellent veteran boundary corner who had the interception last week in Montreal off Cody Fajardo in the final minutes to lead to the Argos game-winning field goal.
Yeah, it was Peters who came up to make the tackle on Butler, that big collision that popped the ball in the air. And you see he had that left arm extended kind of vulnerably as he goes into contact. And you see he had that left arm extended kind of vulnerably as he goes into contact. See maybe that elbow or shoulder hyperextending on the play. He's slow to get up, and these are the ones over these last number of weeks of the season. Every time one of his guys is slow to get up, no doubt Ryan Dinwiddie and his staff are going to be holding their collective breath.
Well, we've seen his value to this Argo defense the last couple of years as he slowly heads off the field. It's a 3rd down. So far in this game, the Ticats have managed only 55 yards of net offense. It has been a struggle for Hamilton, as they're hoping to get back to the 500 mark, coming in here at 6-7, winning 3 of their last 4, but not going well so far. Down 17-3 as we get closer to the 3-minute warning, and Vedvik on standing at his 10 to punt this one to Javon Lee. League, who leads the CFL in punt return touchdowns with 4. Mario Alford last night in Ottawa had his 3rd. Saskatchewan in a losing cause. And League off the hop, and he picks it up at the 45 across the 50, trying to break free. And he does for a while. He gets to midfield before he is taken down. It's Garan Goche on special teams coming in to take him down. The 3-minute warning is out. Javon Leake thought he might have had a shot to break this one free. Not quite, but it's Argo football with a 14-point lead.
Checking this kid, Tyson Beauregard.
We've got Deontay McMahon's impact and straight fire, the best U Sports plays in the weeks in football.
More coffee, more coffee.
Nice to see Shinetti back in the studio, pinch hitting for Kate. And we got Britt Dord here, and we get the panel getting ready for halftime. Dan Adebaboye in at running back, and Kelly completes that one late in the half. Tavares Daniels down inside the 30, so the Argos in position to add to that lead, standing at 17-3, a pickup of 20 yards.
Tavares Daniels, who's been the #1 deep ball threat for the Argos this season, comes in averaging over 20 yards a catch on the season.
From the Hamilton 34, Kelly, he steps up, he takes off, he slides inside the 30, shy of a first down. About a 2nd and 5 coming up.
And you'll see how things open up in front of Kelly as he steps up here. He's looking downfield and then I think realizes running is his better option. Ted Laurent, the injured Hamilton Tiger Cat.
His 11th year, he played in Mississippi just like Chad Kelly did years before.
Laurent, originally from Montreal, moved to Georgia to play his high school football down there before finding his way to Ole Miss. This is a guy who flew under the radar in the draft. He actually ended up going in the supplemental draft because they missed getting his name on the draft list, but he was actually at the Senior Bowl with scouts from various CFL teams, people not realizing that he was from Montreal, that he had lived in Montreal until his early teens.
And started in Edmonton, I believe, right?
He did, yeah.
Before ending up with a
second round
Cat.
supplemental pick of Edmonton.
And what a fixture. He and Simone Lawrence, especially, another one who started in Edmonton, had a season there. Those two especially long-time fixtures. There's Lawrence, their all-time leading tackler.
Coach Orlando Steinauer joked with us this week about when Simone was in Edmonton that one season, 2012, when he was wearing number 48. I went back and checked my old boards.
There you go.
Orlando's memory served him correctly. A lot of guys from that team still in the league.
That was back in 2013. He played there. Kelly again towards the end zone. Richard Leonard went up for it. Johnson, the intended Argo receiver, and like Leonard been a little bit closer. Might have had a shot at it. Back in the lineup after missing last week with injury. Field goal unit coming on.
Certainly a bonus for the Tiger Cats. Fellow 6th-year man Tunde Adeleke out of the lineup with injury to get Richard Leonard back in.
The Montreal Alouettes won earlier today, so they improved to 7-7. And so the Ticats, all-important game here in Toronto, trailing right now and could be trailing by more than the 14 as Boris Beattie looks to put 3 more on, and he does. So Beattie stays perfect in the field goal department for the night. And it is now Toronto 20, Hamilton 3. You mentioned the Ticats coming in with a record of 6-7. And look at that bunch. Matthew Shinetti, Jim Barker, Matt Dunnigan, and Dave Naylor. Ready to talk about this game, and I'm sure that earlier game at McMahon Stadium in Calgary that the Alouettes won.
You know, the topic of the pen, I ran into Lapo in the airport.
There you go.
This morning as I was returning from Ottawa. He was getting ready to go there.
2 ships passing in the morning at the airport. After we were at TD Place to watch Ottawa for that victory over Saskatchewan last night. Powell, 1:48 on the clock, and he does complete that one, and that's up just shy of the 50 and right near the first down marker for Keandre Smith.
Yeah, Keandre's dad, Adrian, is here wearing Argo colors. They, of course, a former Argo DB.
Keandre, who went to Guelph, and yeah, his father Adrian, we had that graphic earlier about the greatest Argo teams by record. The 96 team with Doug Flutie, 15-3. Adrian had a pick 6 in the Grey Cup in that victory over Edmonton back then in 1996. A short yardage here for Kyle Loxley on a 2nd and 1 as he gets that just up over the 50 and a first down for Hamilton late in this first half.
So Adrian, of course, supporting his son, and he did spend time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats as well, but here sporting double blue as he was waving the flag as part of the game opening ceremonies for the Argos here tonight.
His dad part of the back-to-back 15-3 teams, best regular seasons the Argos have ever had. And that one heads into the turf here at BMO Field from Taylor Powell. So a 2nd and 10 coming up, 1:31 to go until halftime.
You see the linebacker Jordan Williams marked up in the line of scrimmage, and again looks like communication issue at the line of scrimmage. The player rushing to an interior gap is coming free while guys on the edges are getting blocked. Got to prioritize inside rushers.
Taylor Powell 6 for 12, 43 yards, and that interception early in the game, finger pointing time, and some movement along the line. Jordan Murray, the left tackle.
Legal procedure. Hamilton, number 59, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Murray moving over to left tackle. His first game back with the Ticats. First time in a couple of seasons he was on the right side.
And Murray has some experience certainly playing both, as he played mostly on the left side in his previous stint with the Tiger Cats back in 21.
2nd and 15. The Hamilton 45, late first half. Powell to the left, complete. That's Smith. Again, Keandre Smith up near midfield. 1:22 on the clock. Still plenty of time for the Ticats to see if they can work their way down and get some more points on the board.
And facing just a 3-man rush with McManus, and coming in late when Butler didn't release. Powell afforded some time here to let things develop.
But not enough for a first down, and from midfield they will have to punt it away. Javon Lee.
Ticats looking to use up the clock and limit Toronto's time with the ball here.
From Vedvik. And lets it take a hop. And down deep it goes. 56-yard punt from Corey Vedvik. And it goes into the end zone for 1. So make it a 20-4 game. The numbers for Chad Kelly. The 1 offensive touchdown on 1 big play to Dejon Brissett. A 1-play drive. And Toronto completely in charge in this game.
Well, I couldn't help thinking in that first quarter, as Toronto had the defensive touchdown that contributed to a 7+ minute stretch with Kelly on the sidelines.
Throwing now and completing it too. That's Daniels at the 45. So still time for the Argos.
And this is way too easy for them to get down into field goal range. Secondary backed off. Daniels with all kinds of space. That's an easy throw for Kelly.
Working tempo down. 49 seconds. Kelly, 17-point lead, looking for more. Dan Adeboboye, the second-year running back, mostly a special teamer with the Argos on that depth behind Ouellette and Harris, and he gets a catch there, gets a touch and gets it inside the 30.
The way McMahon and Adeboboye have performed tonight, I'm not sure the Hamilton D feels like they're getting much of a break with Ouellette and Harris on the sidelines. 2 youngsters acquitting themselves very well here in this opportunity.
Down to the 30, 35 seconds to go until halftime. Kelly quickly again, caught by Brissett, down at the 25. He's taken down by Javian Elliott. 27 seconds to go as they get up over the ball. In field goal range, trying to find the end zone again before they head to the dressing room. Kelly on second down. It's intercepted. Picked up by Jameer Thurman across the 30 and up near the 35, and effectively ending the chance for the Argos to add to their lead as the Ticats get a much needed defensive stop there in the interception by Thurman.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive. Thurman lurking at depth. Reading Kelly's body language, just sitting on that one.
Get deflected at the line?
Yeah, it looked like you could see by the flight of the football. Thurman takes advantage.
Second interception of the season for Jameer Thurman. Final seconds, first half. Taylor Powell. That is caught by Keandre Smith, who is able to get it down to about the 42. 5 seconds to go. And so they will have a chance to try a field goal after a 29-yard gain, as the field goal unit will come on for Mark Leggio to see if they can at least put 3 more on the board before they head into halftime.
Yeah, big play there. Powell to Smith to give the Cats an opportunity to cut into the lead. See if they can really make the Jameer Thurman interception count for something here.
Vedvik will put it down at about the Argo 48. Final play of the first half. And the field goal try for Mark Leggio. Just comes up shy for Leak. Little bit short. He had the accuracy, but Leak makes sure that it stays out and the half ends. Leggio looks a little frustrated with that one. It remains a 20-4 lead for the Argonauts, Dwayne, who really have been in control of this game from the get-go.
Yeah, they really have, starting with the Wynton McManus pick six. Chad
Down for a field goal, and then on the first pass by Taylor Powell, a pick six for Wynton McManus to put them in an early hole. So Boris Beatty to kick it off and get the second half underway here at BMO Field as the Argos try to improve to a record of 12-1. Here's McAllister with the ball at the 20. And to the 25 before he's taken down. Jonathan Jones in on that special teams tackle with Jonathan Edouard. As James Butler will come on the field now after just 23 yards rushing, Dwayne, in the first half.
Yeah, and they'll certainly try to get him untracked here, as his success on the ground go a long way towards taking some pressure off of Taylor Powell, who's been under siege by the Toronto Argonauts defensive front through the first 30 minutes of this ball game. A big opportunity here for Hamilton, starting with the football. I mean, as one-sided as this game has felt, the fact is it's a 2-score game. Hamilton gets first shot with the ball. They can get back in this thing.
Here we go, second half underway. Butler, and not getting much, although he spins and was able to pick up another couple of yards with Robbie Smith in on the tackle there for Toronto. Ends up being a gain of 6.
Now watch Robbie Smith on the right side of your screen, crashing down. Fights off that cut block, get back into play.
Product of Wilfrid Laurier, second and 4 at the Hamilton 33 now. Final game, Week 16, blitz coming. It's knocked at the line and nearly caught. Coming in for it was Tim White after it deflected high up in the air, but the end remains the same. It's an incomplete pass. 3rd and 4 now as the Ticats on that first possession will have to punt it away.
An eye on Sean Oakman here. Got that big 6'8", 6'9" frame. Goes a long way towards batting some of those balls down.
What's the old saying? You can't coach height. Comes in handy at times like that. Willie Jefferson will tell you that too, as Oakman gets those long arms up and knocks it at the line of scrimmage. So Bedvik back after this, 2 and out to punt it away to Javon Leake. Takes it at the 40. It's in tight there up the right after a punt of 37, gets it across the 50. So Chad Kelly, after a pretty impressive first half, all things considered, 13-18 for 218. He did have the interception thrown late, but a big touchdown pass as well.
Yeah, and it was, I think, a fairly typical Chad Kelly first half. Taking some shots downfield when the opportunities presented themselves. Balls out of his hands quickly, getting good protection. Getting a little bit of help from his ground game. It's not A.J. Ouellette, it's not Andrew Harris, but Deontay McMahon doing a nice job handling the rock in the opening 30.
Good place to start near midfield for the Argo offense in this second half. Kelly throwing quickly. Coming back is Dejan Brissett, who had a touchdown in the first half on a big play from Kelly. He gets that one inside the 50, so in the Ticat zone, and a 2nd and short coming up.
Brissett, the middle receiver. This trip set. Other two guys set up to block. They get an offensive lineman, Hunter, out as well. The 2nd and short situation for Chad Kelly.
And it's Brissett with the ball again. And goes further back. Malik Carney coming in. And loss on that play. So a 3rd down coming up now. And out of field goal range for the Argos. Will have to punt it away.
A big stop here. Javian Elliott doing a nice job getting upfield to turn that one back into his help before Brissett had a chance to get going.
So no punt. Going for it on 3rd down and 3 at least. Hard count, see where this goes. And haven't snapped the ball yet. Trying to draw him off, standing under, trying a few different things, and now no longer behind center.
Violation.
They take the time count.
Toronto number 12. That penalty is declined.
Well, it was within 5 yards, so if they could have drawn them offside, they would have had their first down, but just didn't work. So probably easier for Boris Beatty a little further back to punt it away anyway.
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit in the first half. Remember, Toronto punted from the 43-yard line rather than attempting a long field goal.
Time count violation. Toronto number 12, 5-yard penalty.
They're on the plus 43, attempting to punt for field position. Ended up dribbling into the end zone for a single point. The net gain in field position ended up being just 3 yards as a result, with the ball coming out to the 40.
So they'll punt a little further back here. Beatty inside the 45 for McAllister, who's down at about his 5-yard line to take it. Punt of 51 yards. Nowhere to go. McAllister. Good special teams coverage. Miggy Senko, global player down there for the coverage. So back comes Taylor Powell, an offense that hasn't done much tonight. They'll try again coming up. Smith, Wayne Ford, Brett Dort for the Argos, trying to improve to 12-1, top record in the CFL, and with a 16-point lead over the Ticats, who will start this second half possession deep in their zone from their 9-yard line. Rough night for Taylor Powell and company. He's 8 for 15 for 82 yards as the flags come out with the snap of the ball.
Illegal procedure. Hamilton, number 59. We're going to go after distance. It remains first down.
Jordan Murray again having a rough night.
Yeah, that's at least the 3rd procedure call against the big left tackle. I know on at least a couple of those, Sean Oakman has been lined up on the outside in front of him, and I'm not sure if that's getting in his head at all, blocking sort of a different body type than you're usually going to see in that spot in this league.
Crowd here at BMO getting fired up. The big 1st and 15 coming up, and the Ticats have deep, and they're getting some encouragement from the Argo defense. It likes some noise here. Make things that much harder for Taylor Powell.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 11 minutes, 15 seconds. 11 minutes, 15 seconds.
And I'll tell you, I mean, they've knocked the crowd here over the years since the move at BMO and the attendance numbers, but they have gone up a bit, and it is, when you're sitting here, it does get pretty loud.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I think that the Argos' success this season, I think, has generated some momentum as well.
And they'll pick up the noise again there and appreciate the fact that the defense is not allowing James Butler to go anywhere. There's Winton McManus into the act again. Of course, had the interception for a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, the Argos' outstanding linebacker going to work here against the run. Reads where it's going, gets out ahead of the blockers. Selly.
So he got nothing. 2nd and 15 now at the Hamilton 4. Powell from his end zone. Good protection. And he steps up and he takes off. And Powell, tackled in from behind, is open, trying to strip that ball as he got near the 20, and looks like a first down it is for the Ticats.
Yeah, terrific decision. Good run here from Taylor Powell. Wants to get out of that end zone, avoid the risk of giving up a safety.
They run tempo, and they go back to Butler, who has a pickup of about 4 yards that time as he's taken down by linebacker Jordan Williams.
And it has just been an uphill battle for James Butler in the Hamilton ground game. Right from the get-go tonight.
They set it up at the 24 and a 2nd and 6 here for Hamilton. Down by 16 points. That's complete. Keandre Smith, who gets the first down and pushes that up to the 35. The leading receiver by far for the Ticats tonight is number 85.
Yeah, Smith lined up out wide here.
He's 5 catches for 59 yards. No one else has more than 1. And Godwin does get his 2nd of the night, add to a 12-yard catch he had earlier. So Terry Godwin with it, and they're working tempo. They're moving quickly now. They have another first down up at the Hamilton 47.
Yeah, having a little success with it. They keep it going.
Powell to the right, coming back and catching it for another first down. This is about as good as we've seen the Ticat offense on this night. They get something going in the 6th catch of the night for Keandre Smith.
And his previous single game high on the season was 4. That probably speaks to the job that the Argos are doing on White and Godwin.
Taking the handoff to Butler, and he does get it away. And Ticat receiver, that Smith, who wants a flag, it goes incomplete. 2nd down.
Taylor Powell once again facing some heat. Mason Pierce again creeping in from the secondary to supply a little heat.
The 8th time of the night that Keandre Smith has been targeted. Look at Scott Milanovic, senior assistant coach is the title. In effect, the offensive coordinator for this team. Sean Thomas Erlington is in at running back. On the 2nd and 10 to the Argo 49, complete, and hit right away is Omar Bayless. For Royce Metchinger, and Darius Pickett, the strong side linebacker coming in to make that play.
Yeah, Pickett is a guy who certainly brings a physical presence. Left side of your screen, the hash mark.
Ticats are going for it. Halfway through the third quarter, it's a 3rd down and 6 at the Argo 45. Down by 16 points. The offense has shown a bit of a spark, and Orlando Steinauer wants to see if they can keep this going. On 3rd down. Godwin to the right. Getting away from the heat with Costigan chasing him. Powell gets rid of it. Well, that's intended for Tim White. It's broken up by Tavares McFadden as the Ticats turn it over on downs at the Argo 44. Doesn't work out. They move the ball, but not far enough to make any dent in the scoreboard as Toronto takes over, leading 20-4, 3rd quarter.
My dad's one of the most influential people in my life. Him and his mom worked so hard to give me and my siblings a great life. His dad had to end his football career due to a back injury, but they later opened a family restaurant that he said he worked very hard at every single day so they could provide for the family. His dad, the sole reason he went to UBC and ended up here in the CFL. And the coach said when people like that get rewarded, you're not only surprised, you're happy for them because he's such a great character. Guys?
Great story, Brett. It's Dan Adebaboye on that carry. There's Katsantonis, who's interceptions in 3 straight games coming into this one. And Jim Katsantonis, a member of the 88 Dinos, a team that beat Wayne Ford's Western Mustangs in a national semifinal game. And
Whatever, Rod.
there you go. But Jim is number 32. There he is there. And later moving to the States in the restaurant business in Bakersfield, California is where Stavros was born.
And Jim had spent some time, and a lot of Canadian guys actually went down and played junior college football at Bakersfield in the 80s. Jim was one of those before he ended up at UFC. He played junior football in Edmonton prior to that, and so moved there to raise his family, Stavros and his siblings. And Stavros was telling us this week he was looking at walking on at the University of Washington after high school, but Dad had kept in touch with the University of Calgary program. Their former coach Blake Nill was moving to UBC. So he looked at both those schools, ultimately settling on UBC, and it worked out great for him.
He really has, emerging as the starting safety for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Dan Adebaboye had the previous carry and throwing that time to Tavares Daniels and close to another 1st down. They had the first on the Adebaboye carry beforehand. Katsantonis, known as the Bakersfield Bandit back in high school for his takeaways.
Yeah, really a guy who just has a nose for the football, demonstrated it throughout his university career, and he's been able to transfer that to his time here in the Canadian Football League. As Coach Orlando Steinauer says, whatever role we have put him in, he's excelled at it.
Deontay McMahon back in this game. McMahon coming in this half and 6 carries for 34 yards. He had 60 yards total offense in that first half. His 2nd game had some action, a couple of carries in Montreal, but getting more in this night.
And once again, Andrew Harris is on the injured list. AJ Ouellette, a healthy scratch for this game, but with a lot of very serviceable bodies, it'll be interesting to see how the Argos deploy them down the stretch and into the playoffs.
And going back to McMahon again on that 1st down carry. They're inside the Hamilton 40. They're showing no signs of let up here. Leading it by 16, 20-4 the score. There's Ouellette on the right and still working hard. We saw that little light squat exercise that went viral earlier this week. There's McMahon on the carry.
Yeah, Chad Kelly joked with us during our conversation with him this week about Ouellette with a week off, and he's squatting 600+ pounds.
635 to be exact. There's another deep ball into the end zone, but picked off by Javian Elliott. A little bit shy, and Elliott has it, and McMahon is chasing him down and makes the tackle, but out to the 20. So another turnover by the Argos, and they keep it a 16-point game. Tiger Cats defense with another big play. Javian Elliott with the interception, and Hamilton football here in the 3rd quarter.
gives kind of a double move on the play. Breaks in and then up. Elliott bit briefly, but as the throw was just a little short, Elliott was able to recover and make a play on the ball. A little more air on that one, a little bit deeper. And the Argos would be celebrating a touchdown rather than chasing down the Tiger Cat defender.
On first down, Butler, Wayne Hendricks, Brandon Barlow there just after a couple of yards. And the pick for Elliott, that is his third of this season. Looking things over with Richard Leonard. Elliott, who started his CFL career with Calgary.
And a couple of seasons with Calgary, but only a handful of games played there for Elliott. So still learning on the fly, but a big play there.
2nd and 7 now. Rolling out to the right and throwing it and completing it for a first down at about the 42. This is Tim White with a quieter night for him based on the way the last few games have gone.
Yeah, very quiet night for White, and obviously taking nothing away from Keandre Smith, a talented young receiver, but probably a little bit of a sign of how things have gone for Hamilton, that Smith would have so many catches, whereas their top two receivers, White and Godwin, have been held off the stat sheet.
Back to back to Tim White suddenly now getting a little bit busy. White coming in. Last 3 games, heading into this one, 20 catches for 345 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And I think at this point, with a dynamic player like Tim White, you just see that short pass out to the flat. Just really making effort to find a way to get the ball in the hands of one of their most dangerous weapons, even if it's breaking away from the original game plan.
2nd and 2 at the Hamilton 47. Still a 16-point game. They try the flea flicker, and it's intercepted by Wynton McManus for the 2nd time tonight. Could he do it again to the end zone? Nearly had 2 pick sixes on the night. He is stopped shy inside the 5. So no, not a second touchdown for number 48, but oh so close, and the Argo offense will be on the field with a 1st and goal. McManus, interception number 2.
Well, never a surprise to see a big defensive play from Wynton McManus right in the middle of your screen. Steps up to the line first, and then bails. Not a Ticat receiver in sight where Powell threw the football. You saw his reaction after letting that one go.
I sense Ticat fans are not amused by that. So Argos 1st and goal, and going nowhere is McMahon on that one. Probably lost just a little bit of yardage now. Yeah, goes back out to the 9. Deontay McMahon lost yardage, 2nd and goal now for Chad Kelly. Avoids the rush, rolls out to the right, does throw into the end zone on a touchdown. TD number 2 for Dejon Brissett. This one a 9-yarder after the 70-yard touchdown when they connected in the first half, as the Argos are really opening it up now after that interception by Wynton McManus. So in all facets of this game, it is going double blue. Kelly under pressure, but rolling out, thought he might take off, and saw how wide open Brissett was to pick up that touchdown.
Yeah, you saw Ticat defender had fallen down in the end zone, which resulted and Brissett being all by himself for his second major of the game.
And fourth of the season, and the point after there by Beattie, and it is now Toronto 27, Hamilton 4, with just seconds to go in this third quarter, as the Boatmen are getting that much closer to improving their franchise best record right now, 12-1, if they win tonight.
As Brissett works back to the football on the scramble, the defender loses his footing, giving Kelly an easy option.
Getting more targets the last few games than he really has had in his young career, Dejan Brissett, and making the most of it. A couple of touchdowns tonight.
I started to talk a little earlier about how when he was drafted in 2020, at the time, the Argos were looking to go heavy in terms of Canadians in the receiving corps. They thought they had TJ Jones coming from the NFL at the time, but ran into a contract issue because of the CBA that ultimately led to him not coming over time. With no season in 2020, plans changed a little bit, but really expected with that Brissett to get more of an opportunity earlier, but their plans for the ratio changed, and he's had to bide his time. He's been excellent as a special teamer, and now getting a chance to shine on offense for them as well.
So here's Tyreek McAllister with the Ticats, just in a huge hole and a flag coming out. Hamilton coming in with the momentum of 3 wins in 4 games, but absolutely flat in this one against their rival, and facing now at being swept 4 games in the regular season. This is the last regular season meeting tonight between the rivals, separated down the QEW. Last meeting 3 weeks ago on Labor Day Monday at Tim Hortons Field. And that is quarter time off that kickoff.
During the return.
In a quarter where the Argos continued to add to it, despite that interception prone. Defense has been so good for Toronto in this night, setting up another touchdown for the Toronto Argonauts, especially on the scoreboard where it's most important now at 27-4. Now, they had won the previous 3 meetings against Hamilton, looking for the series sweep, and something thinking might have been Hamilton might have more of an opportunity now because the Argos are resting some players, and they've already clinched first place, but there's just been no sign of that dynamic at all. It's been mostly disappointing for Hamilton.
Yeah, very disappointing for Hamilton. As I don't want to say that there doesn't seem to be a sense of urgency, but just I think it's demoralizing the way that Toronto really has dominated them through this football game. It started early with the pick 6 and then the deep shot to Brissett. It has kind of continued to be the case through this ball game. It just hasn't felt close in a game that should be playoff mode for the Hamilton Tigers.
On the screen there to Tyreek McAllister. Picks up the first down for Hamilton. Down 23 points as this fourth quarter begins. The Hamilton 27 now. Powell incomplete, looking for White, and McFadden was right there up at the 40, defending that nicely to force a second down.
The Argos defense just continuing to play that intensity notched up. Think about some of the keys for Hamilton offensively. James Butler in the run game, a passing game that goes through Tim White. Toronto has taken those things away.
Wide open, right over the middle. And a big completion there for McAllister and the Ticats in the Argos zone as they quickly move up over the ball. Saw them try to work.
Well, a couple of verticals on the play, and you had Tim White on the left side of your screen, McAllister on the right side offensively, and you saw Powell with that shoulder fake towards White. That takes the defense, takes the safety, thinking the ball's going to their main man, Tim White, and opens up the middle for McAllister. Nice execution there for Powell and the Cats.
All the way down to the Argo 40 right now. Hamilton desperately needs something. That's off to Felix Garan-Gauthier for another first down inside the 30, and a late flag comes out too as he is out of bounds. Garan-Gauthier, product of the Laval-Rouge.
Unnecessary roughness or scholar tackle. Toronto number 48. We're going to go after distance. Automatic first down.
Great opportunity for the Cats. You see Garan-Gauthier left side of your screen working to the flat. As he turns it up, McManus gets that right hand on the back of the collar. I think realized it part way and let go, but earned the flag nonetheless.
Down inside the 15. The Toronto 13 now, and dumping it off to Butler. And he gets it down to the 5. So a second and short coming up here. And the Ticats, who have yet to find the end zone in this game, are as close as they've come so far.
Good execution on a little bit of a screen look here to open up Butler. An opportunity here for Hamilton with about yard and a half to get a first down without scoring. Here.
Ticats need a touchdown in the worst way. Best chance at it. 12 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. A 2nd and 2 from the Toronto 5. Powell keeps it to get the first down and turn this into a short yardage 1st and goal, which he does.
At about the 2-yard line, Ticats are going to stay with their base offense on the field. 5 receivers, Powell at quarterback. Keeping their options open here rather than going to Loxley in the short yardage group.
1st and goal. Butler. No. He's denied around the 1 and then pushed back. But Darius Pickett's all fired up. The 2nd down and goal is coming up.
You'll see Pickett leading the charge. Stacking up Butler. Right at the line of scrimmage.
2nd try. High snap coming in and taking him down is Thomas Costigan. The snap was high into Butler's hands, and the Ticats are going backwards at this critical point looking for a touchdown.
Costigan is reading the Ticats mail on this one. He's just coming straight into the backfield, and when the handoff is delayed because of the high snap, it gives Costigan that much more of an advantage, but he was just making a beeline to the mesh point. Just like Corey Mace drew it up.
The defensive coordinator for the Argos liking this. Will he like this now? 3rd and goal. One last chance. End zone. Touchdown. Godwin has it. And finally, the Ticats find the end zone. Terry Godwin with his 4th receiving touchdown.
4th touchdown of the year for Godwin. 3rd against the Tiger Cats. He lines up just off the tackle. Split from the tackle. Quick little hook, short throw. Why didn't they do that on 1st down?
They're wondering why they didn't do something like this earlier in the game, too. A 9-play drive for 95 yards. In part aided by that big play to McAllister, followed up by a penalty that got them close. Mark Leggio for the point after. And he puts it through, so we're back down to a 2-score game, the biggest of the 2-score leads, 16 points for Toronto, but the Ticats have a touchdown. Powell to Godwin.
All across.
You know, we talked during this possession about Hamilton in a short yardage situation staying with their base offense. And so to see them from their base offense, so you're not going with extra blockers, big bodies or anything, but then to run a dive play didn't seem to be a great fit, right? You kind of opened yourself up to run your whole offense, and that was what they ran, and ultimately ends up being a play where they drop the quarterback back where they score.
Saw Deontay McMahon on the kick return. Argo football. Chad Kelly coming on a beautiful September night in Toronto. The Argos still up by 16. Mitchell has had a couple of big injuries in his first year with the Ticats, but nice to see him with the leg injury out throwing the ball around. Still no timetable on when he might be able to play again. Certainly hoping to be a factor in Hamilton's playoff run, and there he is too. And yeah, chilling on the sideline. He got actually hurt here at BMO Field the first time back in week 2, and then did come back and then got hurt in Ottawa's first game back in the final play of the game. Oh, Levi Mitchell. Chad Kelly is all day and launches another deep one into a crowd. It falls incomplete. David Ungerer, the closest Argo receiver there. Dexter Lawson and Stavros Katsatonis in coverage for the Ticats.
Keeping that defense honest, challenging them deep. Seems like a situation where a lot of quarterbacks might have looked for the check down. Kelly's like,
Chuck down instead.
Yeah, the chuck down.
Check down to chuck down. Right down the, well, he certainly worked in the first half when he chucked it down to Dejan Brissett for a 70-yard touchdown. This time shorter for DeMonte Coxey. It's been at times the top receiver for the Argos before he got hurt, but it's been a quiet night for 86.
And this one just off the mark for Kelly. As you saw, Coxey had a little bit of open space there.
Next week, the Ticats host the Calgary Stampeders. The Argos head off to Winnipeg. We now have some company atop the West in the BC Lions. Both at 10-4, with the Lions winning at Edmonton last night. The punt by Beattie. Tyreek McAllister breaks free. Flags out though. Still on his feet across midfield and down the sidelines, and gets a little escorted at the end by a Darius Pickett, but the flag is out and a big McAllister return.
During the return, holding Hamilton number 88, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Seen a few big returns negated by penalties this season by Tyreek McAllister.
We'll take a look at Tyreek McAllister return. He shows his burst. You see Tyler Ternowski just on the left side of your screen. A bit of a wrestling match with his man. It results in the former Waterloo star getting called for the hold.
So back at the 10 now to start this drive. They went 95 the last time they had the ball to get their first touchdown. They need to go a long way here. 8:22, fourth quarter. And throwing it away is Powell from the end zone, getting a lot of pressure.
It just feels like Taylor Powell.
Grounding in goal.
Powell called for illegal grounding. And from the end zone.
Intentional grounding. Hamilton number 0. The foul occurred in goal. It will be a safety touch.
So they do call the safety, the referee Andre Prue, because he did ground the football from the end zone. So 2 more points on the board for the Argos to make it 29-11, as the Ticats will also have to kick them the ball.
No receiver in the area. The ball doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. Doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. The grounding call.
There's a look that says it all.
Yeah. It's been that kind of an evening for Coach Steinauer and the Tiger Cats.
And Hamilton, really, they've had more evenings like that against the Argos than anyone else. Of course, this is the 4th time they've played them, but each time, the first game that they met back in week 2. That was the Argos season opener here at BMO Field, and it was all Toronto in that one as well. Week 7, Taylor Powell made his first CFL start, and then on Labor Day, the Argos took charge early, and they won that one pretty decisively too. And here it's 29-11 after the safety. And so the Argos just take over at the 40. No kick and ball. And Deontay McMahon is the ball carrier.
See if we get a heavy dose of McMahon carrying the football here in the 4th quarter. 18-point lead now for the Toronto Argonauts. And it'll be interesting to see, obviously, 18 points with half a quarter to go.
The blitz coming, and Unger can't hang on to it on that 2nd down play, so the punting unit will be out.
Lots of time for a comeback by Canadian football standards, but it'll be interesting to see if at some point we see Cameron Dukes get some snaps for the Toronto Argonauts.
Well, that will be the question as they get further along in this final third of the season. Brian Dinwiddie saying that Kelly will play 4 of the remaining 6 games. We don't know how that's going to break down in terms of how long he will stay in each game, I guess, depending on how it's going. And would this be a moment soon where they consider a change and get Dukes some reps?
Yeah, and it's not just about getting Dukes and possibly Brian Scott some reps to be ready to play, but they need to evaluate them. I mean, you have a Grey Cup worthy team, and you'd hate to see it get derailed, but if something happens to Chad Kelly, then you got to figure out, can the other guys play, or do we need to go out and get some insurance?
Chad Kelly, then on the left, Cameron Dukes, number 11, who got in Calgary and several weeks ago. Argos up 3 scores, 29-11. Argos in charge on the road to 12-1, leading the Ticats now by 18 points. Taylor Powell back in on what's been a rough night up to Godwin. Quantez Stiggers moving in on him. Barring a miraculous comeback, the Ticats poised to fall to 6-8, and once again 2 points behind the Montreal Alouettes, who got back to 500 with a victory in Calgary earlier today. 2nd and 5 now at the Hamilton 31. Deep look down the left side. It's caught too. Keandre Smith.
Yeah, Smith continuing to be the biggest bright spot in the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense tonight. A couple of outstanding catches for him. You get a great look at him heading right down the rail on the left side of the field. Going up above the defender to make that grab.
Inside the Argo 40 now. 6 minutes on the clock. Tim White. And he is grabbed there. Darius Pickett. Quantez Stiggers in on the tackle. A career night for Keandre Smith, and what's been a losing cause so far in this game. Big catch there. Second and 8. Argo 37. And that one is to Godwin, just shy of the 30, so shy of a first down. Of course, a 3-down game. The Ticats have no choice but to play it now. 3rd and short coming up.
And the Cats obviously facing an uphill battle throughout this fourth quarter, but the safety hurts as, again, as one-sided as the game has seemed at times, the Cats were still in a 2-score football game. But that safety made it 3, and that probably contributing to the decision to go for a field goal.
So, yeah, going for 3 now, since it is a 3-score game. And
yeah, people debate it and the timing of basically you need 2 touchdowns and a field goal. When do you go for the field goal?
so on the 3rd and 1, they want to go for the 3 from about 37 away. And that one is good for Mark Leggio. So 29-14 is the score. Some news about your old coach in Calgary, Wally Buono, Hall of Famer, of course, legendary BC Lion too. We got a note from his daughter, Christy, who's with the Make-A-Wish Foundation in BC, and they got this little campaign going for the next home game for the Lions when the Rough Riders is there, and it's an opportunity for fans to sit with them, with Wally and Christy, at a game. And your old coach has not sat in the stands and watched a lot of games.
Yeah, well, he never has.
Never has.
Actually, he has 2 season tickets at BC Place, but he always watches games from other places, never sits in his seat. So an opportunity for fans to bid for an opportunity to sit and watch the game with Wally and pick his brain. Tougher questions they can ask Christy instead. She'll be there too.
Yeah. And they've raised some money. People can bid on this for a trip there to go and spend some time with Wally Buono. And once a coach, always a coach. Imagine sitting and watching a game with him, because I can't imagine him not getting completely enthralled with what's going on in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Wally still has some strong opinions about how things should be done, and I can speak from experience when I say he's usually right.
Well, you know, if you have an interest in this, you can reach out to Christy.Buono at makeawish.ca for a great cause, and pressure on Chad Kelly as he takes off. Simone Lawrence in on him up at the 45. But a chance, as mentioned, to watch a game at BC Place.
Timeout, Hamilton.
Another big play. Still the leader of the Ticat defense, Simone Lawrence. Franchise career leader in tackles.
Yeah, and with that, Simone Lawrence moved by Kevin Ivan, former Argo. A great player, great linebacker with the Argos. Simone Lawrence, 10th all-time now in tackles. 723, the all-time leader in the history of the Ticats. He has been for a while, and was a great with the Blue Bombers. Greg Battle sitting at number 9, some 43 tackles ahead. A challenge is coming up.
The previous play is under the previous play is under review for roughing the passer. The play is challenged by Toronto. The play will be reviewed.
And that's on a play where we had given Simone Lawrence 723.
We'll take another look here.
The head.
See, that right hand over the top with a shot to the head. Leave this to the command center to decide how they feel about that, but you know, in slow motion you may not get as much of a feel for maybe how much of a striking blow that is, but anything up around the head, any contact is typically judged as roughing the passer.
So debating roughing the passer, and here's the decision by the command center.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. Toronto is charged a timeout, and they're out of challenges for the rest of the game.
Okay, 3:24 on the clock, and Argos still in command by 15 points. Ryan Dinwiddie loses that challenge. There he is. Top 10. The ruling top 10 in tackles in the CFL history, and part of that ruling that Chad Kelly became a runner in effect, crossing the line of scrimmage, which is why they are not going to rule it. Became a runner in effect, crossing the line of scrimmage, which is why they are not going to rule it roughing the passer. So Boris Beattie to punt. Tyreek McAllister, after a punt of 41, gets it up to the 39 of the Ticats. Mentioned the games coming up. With Calgary going to Hamilton next week, and the Argos, they finish up against Winnipeg. They have Edmonton here in 2 weeks' time, and they will celebrate their 150th, as Brett Dorton told us about. They also have a game against Saskatchewan at Mosaic, and they close out with a couple of games against the Ottawa Red Flags. And the next game that is a must-win, a true must-win for the Argos, would be, of course, the Eastern Final. They will host it November the 11th. Long ways away. A lot of football still to be played. And they've been playing it well tonight for the most part. Never really in doubt the way they got off to that 10-0 start. And leading it now 29-14. Just under 3 minutes to go as they issue the warning. 29-14. Just under 3 minutes to go as they issue the warning. The Argos look to finish off a 4-game break to get him into the top 10. Did have the hand high on the helmet of Chad Kelly. Ruled a runner for coming across. Chad Kelly did not like that. And not the first to be unhappy with Simone Lawrence as well. And player safety, if you read the lips. What are you saying there? Argos want to make sure that quarterback is protected too. This stage of the season when they have already clinched, and it's Hamilton. Oh, a little hurdle there by Bayless over Stiggers after the catch and a flag comes out. But yeah, Kelly clearly unhappy on the sideline for being hit the right hand of the helmet by Simone Lawrence.
Holding Hamilton, number 64. 10-yard penalty. Going to replay second down.
Well, we can still take another look at the great hurdle by Omar Bayless, and if the play is coming back. Pretty good form.
With Quantez Stiggers coming in, representing the hurdle there, but it's all for naught with the penalty negating that. Back to the Hamilton 35. Final minutes here at BMO Field. And deep down the right, intended for Godwin. Stiggers there, incomplete. 3rd down and 14 coming up. Ticats running out of time. And the Argos approaching 12-1.
Yeah, and the Argos at this point, given the Tiger Cats 3-man rush, they had 6 deep defenders on the play. Just wanted to make sure nothing goes over their heads at this point to let the Tiger Cats pull to within a score in quick fashion.
Third down, 14. Powell. Deep to the right. Bobbled. Oh, it's caught by Keandre Smith. Wow, what a night he's having.
On fire. The awareness to stay with this ball after the deflection. Off the fingertips of Mason Pierce, off Smith's own fingertip. Stays with it. Great grab.
So they keep going. They're down to the 45 of Toronto. But down goes Powell. He is sacked. Robbie Smith is in there to take him down. So let's have another look at what Keandre Smith just did.
And just continuing his fantastic night. Despite the struggles, the Tiger Cats as a whole, he has been a very bright light.
Career night, 8 catches, 148. After the sack, deflected at the line, but it is caught by Keandre Smith again. So that's his 9th catch now as we just head under 2 minutes in this game. And another 3rd down is coming up as he limps after getting up.
So having more than doubled his previous single game high for the season of 4 catches.
That was Sean Oakman who got up to deflect that one, got the arms up, and it still was caught. Injured Argo down on the field. That is Quantez Stiggers, the rookie corner for Toronto. Gets up, and a bit of a limp, will head off on his own. As said, this is the ongoing concern for a head coach in these remaining games, especially what always is, but especially now, wanting to keep everyone healthy. The balance of the way.
Especially you look at the back end where they're already down to Sean Amos and Robertson Daniel. So hopefully nothing too serious for the rookie Stiggers.
From the Toronto 41, 3rd and 6, another 3rd down where they have to go. Powell running around, he gets rid of it, and it is almost another great catch by Smith, but he got hit. Royce Mechie, the safety, coming in, and Smith that time could not hang on. So the Ticats this time turn it over on downs. Toronto football at their 41.
It's his former Guelph teammate, Royce Mechie, to spoil Smith's great string of highlight reel catches.
Griffin on Griffin. And it's Mechie knocking it loose. Some words for Keandre Smith, who really has been the best offensive player certainly on the field for the Ticats on this night.
Timeout, Toronto. That was their final timeout.
This is wrapping up week 16. We're in the final third of the regular season. We move on to week 17 next week, Friday Night Football, and a doubleheader. It starts with, well, the Argos and the Bombers, the 2 teams that have been really the best this season, although Winnipeg has some company at the top of the West with BC now. And then the Rough Riders versus the Lions, and certainly a big one for both teams. Saskatchewan trying to stop that losing skid. Friday Night Football. Next week, week 17 in the CFL. Ticats will have the Calgary Stampeders, as mentioned.
And regardless of who's in the lineup, who's out of the lineup for the Argos in terms of the roster management, it'll be interesting to see what strategy they take facing Winnipeg.
You see Andrew Harris there, and unfortunately one of the big storylines with that one circled was his return to Winnipeg for the first time since signing on with the Argos, but he's on the 6th game. So we won't get to see him playing next week back in Winnipeg, but still a much anticipated showdown between Toronto and Winnipeg, and Grey Cup rematch. They met last year in the CFL's biggest stage in Regina, with the Argos victorious in that game and a dramatic finish. So
Hamilton. This is their final timeout.
So these are the current standings. We're never going to jump the gun with 108. We nearly did last night.
Never again.
Never again. But
jump the gun.
We had given Saskatchewan the loss at a similar point, and the Riders came back and made it a 1-score game. So we'll still call Toronto 11-1, although it's looking pretty good to go to 12-1 right now. And Hamilton is looking at 6-8. Back to 2 points behind the Alouettes, who went earlier today in Calgary, and the Red Blacks trying to stay in it. That's the other one, week 17 next week. Neglected to mention the first of 2 between Ottawa and Montreal. And, well, it wasn't critical before for the Red Blacks. They're just trying to hang on with that victory. last night, pretty much needing to run the table to have a chance. But they got Montreal next week. And it gets passed back on that return by McAllister to Tyler Turnowski, who gets it up to the 30, but we're under a minute to go. And that's the team that's, even though they're playing the Alouettes next week, the Red Blacks have the Ticats in their sights, but still 4 points behind.
And McAllister looking to draw in the coverage and then get it out wide to Turnowski, but didn't play out quite as hoped. Jeff Reinbold and Cats.
Special teams coordinator for Hamilton. 2 years ago, the Argos had clinched first in the East with a more modest record, but still first in the division, and the Ticats went in and spoiled the party. As they're looking at the final seconds of this game, but they get about to fall to 6-8 as Godwin injured on the field. Hamilton can only dream that they'll get another chance to come back here to BMO. The regular season meetings are over, but as Godwin limps off, the Ticats now just hoping that they can make it to the Eastern Final and get another crack at the Argonauts. November 11th. A season series completely one-sided, dominating by the Argos. Powell dumps it off and it falls incomplete. Intended for Butler as he was being chased out of the pocket. Back to a third down again.
And this has kind of been the story of Taylor Powell's night, is constantly has those double blue jerseys in hot pursuit. .35 seconds on the clock. Argos closing in on their 12th win. Incomplete. Another turnover on downs intended for Turnowski. Jonathan Jones getting some time in the Argo defense. Chad Kelly comes back on. Jones along with Stiggers. Unfortunately, his injury not keeping him out. The defense giving the offense the opportunity to close this one out.
Sports Center coming up next. Sarah Davis and Julia Teixeira in victory formation. A formation the Argos have seen a lot this season. A franchise best now through 13 games of 12-1. They've clinched first in the East. What more is in store in this remarkable regular season for the Double Blue? And as for their rivalry with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, it has been very one-sided in 2023. 4 games, 4 victories for the Toronto Argonauts, who put this one away. Chad Kelly and company have won another. Their first one post-clinch, taking it 29-14.
For the Hamilton Tiger Cats, tough outing tonight, but for them, obviously, still a playoff race at hand, and their focus has to go back to that, shake this one off for the Toronto Argonauts. If anyone was concerned that clinching first place was going to lead to complacency, I think they've erased any notion of that. They're playing for keeps, regardless.
No sign of complacency right from the beginning. Early field goal, interception for a touchdown, and then a one-play drive. Dejan Brissett hauling that in for the first of his 2 touchdowns. Thomas Costigan with a good night on a very strong Argo defense in this one. So they're off to Winnipeg next week. Friday night football up against the Bombers in the thick of the race in the West. We'll be there to watch that one too. Thank you for watching the closing game of Week 16 and this Saturday